I personally feel women should make money to become financially independent. Let's not say it's a passion or some stories. We all need money at the end of the day.
Meet Nivetha Murlidharan, founder of New Gen Max and Nivetha E Academy, a TEDx speaker and an award-winning e-commerce expert who has trained 50,000 plus entrepreneurs to build profitable online businesses. Let's talk to her about women entrepreneurship and how she's empowering more women to step into the world of business. Do you ever feel as a woman that there is this gender bias still existing?
Before marriage, I tried to take a loan. So at that time, see, my brother also was trying a loan. His norms is very simple. He can just sign it. For me to take a loan, my father has to sign because I'm not married. If I'm married, no, my husband has to sign.
Oh, really?
So they said, like, you have to bring the father. I said, why father? Because I'm doing the business. He said, no, that is the rules in India. So I was very shocked. Like the same my brother was doing. Only his sign is enough. We don't even know that he got a loan or not.
Now, this is a very basic problem that a lot of women have, is that they have a lot of family pressure. The in-laws probably will put pressure, the husband will put pressure that, oh, you've started devoting too much time on your work and you're not giving too much attention to the house, to the kids, the kitchen is all over the place.
So what I thought of doing it, and not just in business, even in home, is delegation. You need some help, let me hire a helper. The bathroom needs to be clean, let me fix it with someone else. But families will not accept this initially because everything comes with the money. The main problem is like when you go and sit in front of the family and say that I'm going to start a business, everyone will confuse you. Stop discussing, better execute it. Initially, maybe you have to do it all silently. And then slowly I started to show them that I'm making money.
Right.
That show off is necessary.
And what do you have to say to women who struggle with the fear of failure? That, okay, I'm going to go against my family and I really believe in this thing, but what if I fail? Then everyone's going to laugh at me. What do you have to say to women like that?
Let's fail.
You know what a parra is? Do you guys know what a parra is? Parra is small pillow.
Say something for you.
Test.
Yeah? Okay, go cameras, go sound. Hi, Nivetha.
Hi, Chavi.
How was your flight from Kolkata?
Yeah, it was good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We've been shooting from morning today, so a little tired, but it's always wonderful to meet a person like you. Very inspiring
Thank you.
to meet somebody like you who's been working from home. And today we're going to talk about women entrepreneurs, all the women out there who are looking to start a business from home and just don't know how to. So first of all, Nivetha, tell me, what are the challenges that you faced as a woman when you started your own venture from home? Can you tell us a little bit about what you do first?
Okay, so I started all this at 2013 when I was doing my college final year. I got placed in software companies, but still I felt I have to do something, and I started my entrepreneurship journey. That was the time, and currently I run 3 different companies where I actually sell products. Another company, I help brands to scale products on Amazon, and also we work with the celebrity brands like Nayanthara, whom we call Lady Superstar. And also I run an academy where I train people about how they can start an e-commerce business from the comfort of the home.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of things. That's amazing. You're doing so much all by yourself. So how long has it been for you, you said?
It's about 12 years plus.
So tell me, you always wanted to work from home, or have you ever worked in an office as well?
No, actually, initially worked 2 years in office setup, and then I quit my job. And when I started my business, I had a small shop nearby also. But I felt that the woman entrepreneurship is not so easy like men entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So why do you say that? What are the challenges?
Because I got married initially, so that was the biggest challenge for me. I am completely from Chennai. So once I got married, I have to relocate to West Bengal, and that to a rural region.
Okay.
So I was little confused what to do. I have been used to work from a shop or in a small office setup. So I came to the rural region, and that time the remote culture was not famous. So I thought, okay, let me try to build some business from here itself. And I started working from home, trying to set up a remote team, but people did not give importance to remote culture. But after COVID, what had happened?
So just elaborate on not giving importance to remote culture. They didn't take you seriously, you mean?
I felt like at 2017, I actually got married. At the time when I say someone like, you can work from remote, they were like, no, that's called freelancing.
Oh.
So no one was ready to take the work from home culture at 2017. Before COVID, people didn't have the mindset. But I was completely working from home, and I was not doing freelancing. I was actually leading a team with a set of freelancers.
Okay.
But this COVID helped me a lot because when COVID came, even the corporate have this norm like work from home. So that was the time I started building entirely from the home. And now my team size is 20 full timers, 50 plus part timers.
Wow.
Everything we are doing it from home. And as I mentioned, I'm still in a rural region and we have employees all over India. And I have a pakka payroll system. Like it's not like, you just work from home. No one can point to a person like, you're just working from home. No.
Right. So
We
it's like
have
a full salary structure.
Yes, salary
and it's not
structure.
like, okay, you were working 5 hours, so they'll pay you for 5 hours. Not
So
like
we
that.
have a proper structure, proper payroll system, PF system, insurance to the employees and families. So I felt like no one should point and say, a woman saying that hey, you're working from home. That doesn't mean that they are not serious about the job. They are very serious about their job. But people were not ready to digest this before COVID.
Before COVID.
After COVID, this helped me a lot, and I started building the team. And all this happened because it is like not my choice. Things happen, I don't know how to figure out, but I want to be an entrepreneur, and it happened just like that.
That's a very, very inspiring journey actually, and to actually realize that you're right. Before COVID, this work from home culture did not even exist. People didn't know that there is something like that.
Correct.
So tell me, as a woman, you're married, you have kids.
Yeah, I have 2 kids.
So how do you manage it? I mean, do you think that working from home is a liability when there are kids or there are other responsibilities involved?
Yeah, maybe in the initial days it was very hard for me. After the first kid, I felt very bad. I was not aware how to handle it.
So you had already started your venture by then.
Yeah, like before marriage itself, I started. So I'm like entrepreneur before marriage, after 1 kid, after 2 kid. So there is a huge difference between each and every stage. After first kid, I struggled a lot. So that was the time I also said you personally. I was seeing all this shitty ideas trending series.
Okay.
And you were actually pregnant with second kid.
Yes.
So I was wondering, how are you working till the last date? So maybe you acted as an inspiration to me personally.
Oh, thank you.
I don't follow any Hindi people because I don't know Hindi, but you use majority of the words in English and you have a proper subtitle.
Yes.
And you were not dependent on YouTube subtitle.
Yeah.
So only then I thought, okay, let me at least try to learn Hindi with your shitty ideas trending series. So I struggled a lot. Then I felt for second pregnancy, I should plan it properly. I should take a maternity break and I should make sure that none of my business is stopped. So that's where I brought systems in my team. Like, even if I'm not there for the next 1 month, what you guys should do, who's having the authority. And I executed that properly. So during my second pregnancy, I did not touch my mobile phones after my kid was born for 15 days. And I did not work properly for 3 months, but still made sure that everyone is working in remote, followed the structure, and every salary is going on time. So I learned all through the way only. I won't say that, I had a roadmap. I just executed it. I felt, no, I have to execute this.
You were just determined that this is something that I have to do.
Yeah.
And I'm determined to find my own path.
Exactly.
So tell me, for a woman who really wants to do something, okay, but I feel that I've seen a lot of women ask me also that, what is it that I should do? What is it that I can do? So tell me, how can a woman identify what is the right job for her or what is the right business venture for her? How can she identify that?
The first main problem that I could feel is like everyone goes for a business opportunity and they go for a business opportunity with an investment. See, consider I got married and I am going for a business opportunity where I need an investment of 2 lakhs. I go to my husband and ask, give me 2 lakhs. That's where the problem starts in the family.
Okay.
So I feel as a woman, we have given education, our culture is evolved. After education, we did not teach the kid to save money. So I have seen women kids saving the money for their marriage or for buying gold for the marriage to give us a dowry. But no one has said that, put an FD, keep it for you. Now the biggest problem that we have is like, women are married and the entire money goes to the family. She is not having a single penny in her bank account. So
which is only for your personal use.
Yeah. As a family, I feel like we have to teach women first to save money. And once they save money, they will have the rights to spend all their money on a business. Now, consider that we already got married. We did not have a single penny.
Yeah.
First, we have to identify what we are actually good at. And my suggestion is like, don't select a business which require investment.
Okay.
So consider now the trend is going like anything. There are a lot of video editors required, content writers required, which don't require an investment. First, we have to figure out what we are good at. Are we good at writing, speaking? For example, we hire a lot of people to dub a particular Tamil to English, English to Tamil. So even Hindi, I don't know. If someone knows Hindi, we generally hire them.
Okay.
I'm giving you an English, just dub it to English or Hindi, vice versa. All these possibilities are available. So we have to just figure out what we are good at and then make sure that we are figuring out small gigs available in the industry. Like, outreaching me. There are many people who outreach me saying, I can edit your videos. Can you give me a sample? I'll be like, okay. If you're doing good, I'm going to give you a job opportunity. So that first skill is what they have to identify.
Skill. And how important is passion?
Okay. Maybe I feel passion is an overrated word.
Okay.
Now imagine like 10 years down the line, if someone would have taken petrol engineering, we would have appreciated. Now, if it comes to petrol engineering, I doubt after 10 or 15 years, will petrol be there? Or we are going to move into electric vehicles or something. So passion is something that we have told that we have to follow it. And a particular passion we always dreamt of. I have dreamt of being a doctor. I did not become a doctor, but that did not put me down. I thought, okay, let's see what's next. And I'm really happy that I'm doing it this right now, because maybe for a doctor we require a lot of patience. I don't have that. So
Right.
I'm glad that I saved lives.
Right.
So personally, I feel passion is an overrated word. We have to adapt to the existing industry, what is going on, and figure out a particular way and just have one vision. So I personally feel women should make money to become financially independent. Let's not say it's a passion or some stories. We all need money at the end of the day, and women should be financially, independent. And for that, whatever is the best possible ethical way,
Yeah.
obviously, that you have to figure it out. It can compromise your passion initially. It's okay, but just get into it and start love. If you love to do that particular work, right, you will be definitely involved in it. So go ahead with that. And obviously, I feel, your passion itself will get changed.
Correct. So once you identify the skill, okay, this is the talent that I have. Let's say I'm a great cook. This is my talent. Now, does a woman, before starting it out as a business venture, let's say I want to get into catering or something, do I need to do any kind of market research?
Yeah, definitely. Now, the main problem that not just men, okay, even women have this, men and women both have this particular problem, is like they don't do the research. They do a small survey inside their own family and they determine, yeah, this is what is a winning model. So please don't do that. There are a lot of tools available in the industry for each and every industry. If you go for food, there is a separate tool. If you go for product selling, there are separate tools. Understand what the data is going to give to us. What is working out in the industry, just to copy that. No need to innovate new things and then start executing. That's way more simpler, because I personally feel without data, if you just believe your heart and just jump in, there are huge amount of failure and you will regret it later. So better do a ground research. It may take even 6 months to 1 year, but do a research and then start working.
And tell me, how important is it to create like a deck for yourself, for your understanding what is my projections, what are my projections going to look, how is the business going to fare, how much money am I putting in now, how much return am I expecting, how much of that kind of research should somebody do?
Okay, basically I have not done anything. I have not done any paperworks, to be very frank, because when I started, I do data research. But when you deep dive into each and everything, so too much of data will scare you.
Okay.
So like I can understand this is the market research, okay. But constantly I'm going to put 1 lakh this month. In the next 5 years, this much gross I should make, will actually make you fear. If you go deep into majority of the things, consider doing the podcast can be easy. But if I come and think of each and every nuances here, I'll think of it and I won't even
It
start
will
a
suddenly
podcast.
get very intimidating.
So I'll get that fear. So don't go too much deep, but you can just learn the overview, and market research very important. Post that, better start it. I always felt getting started is key. You start the business, and something will come and something will modify. You will learn all through the way, because when I started, that time GST was not there. We used to call VAT TIN number. So I don't even know what is an invoices. So when my dad said, did you get an invoice? I said, what is an invoice? He asked me, you registered a company and you are asking this? So I was so blunt. Then I understood each and everything. But now I know all the formalities, all the legal things, like an equivalent to an auditor at least. So I feel like if you go too much in each and every department, you will fail. You will fear and you will run away.
Okay.
Don't do that. Better execute, and don't imagine that what I'll be in the 5 years, because many people do this even in corporate. I honestly feel in the next 5 years, I'm not even sure what AI is going to do.
Yeah.
People are going to think crazy.
It just becomes so unpredictable.
Yeah. So I can think only next to 5 years with my thought process what I'm having now. So
Correct.
this 2025 knowledge is not enough. It's going to be so huge. So better try to focus on very smaller goals. Next 6 months, next to 1 year. That's far better.
Okay. And I think what you're saying is it's more important to learn from your own experiences.
Yes.
Because you're right. I mean, AI is changing so much in the world, and the world politics is, affecting so many things on a daily basis nowadays. Market prices are going, the trends are changing every day. How much can you predict and how much can you calculate?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, if you want to start a business at home, business from home, best thing is to just do a little bit of research, make a basic plan, and then just dive into it. Now tell me that a lot of women face, now this is a very basic problem that a lot of women have, is that they have a lot of family pressure. Okay, now the in-laws probably will put pressure, the husband will put pressure that, oh, you've started devoting too much time on your work and you're not giving too much attention to the house, to the kids, the kitchen is all over the place, stop doing this, don't waste your time. What should a woman do in that scenario, and how should she handle that?
Okay. So I always feel clear communication is key. And I always felt like when problem will happen, majority, the daughter-in-law and mother-in-law will fight because they share same scope of work. So SOW will be same for both of them. Both will go to the kitchen and fight what to do.
Right.
So I personally follow this thumb rule. Is like, I have a very clear calendar and I show this calendar to everyone. So example, in some of the meetings, I even loop my husband, who's no way connected to my business, to make sure that, hey, my time is blocked, so don't try to disturb me.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
So, and I make sure that I communicate morning. I'm with my mother-in-law, everyone only. So I clearly communicate today, these are my timings. I won't be available, but rest of the timing, I'm available anytime. So the problem comes when you don't fix all the works.
Okay.
So what I thought of doing it, and not just in business, even in home, is delegation.
Right.
Very simple. You need some help, let me hire a helper. So the bathroom needs to be clean, let me fix it with someone else. Don't expect me to do it. But families will not accept this initially because everything comes with the money. So initial days, what I did was like I silently worked in the late nights.
Oh.
So the main problem is like when you go and sit in front of the family and say that I'm going to start a business, do all these stuffs, everyone will confuse you. So it's better not to discuss with anyone.
Okay.
Even till now, if I want to do something, no, I don't discuss it. Even if it's a failure, I accept. But the problem when you start discussing, no, there will be 5 thoughts coming inside. And you will be all confused whether to do or not to do. So stop discussing, better execute it. Initially, maybe you have to do it all silently, maybe spend some extra late nights, etc. And then slowly I started to show them that I'm making money.
Right.
That show off is necessary. Else, people don't understand that you make money. And once you show to them, they'll be like, okay, you can keep a helper. You do this, you take care of this. So I started delegating all my works in my office and also in home to make sure that everything is going on smooth and I can sit and think only strategically.
That's a great tip, actually. Delegation.
Yeah.
And not discussing your plans with everybody. And I've also seen it in personal life. Whenever you discuss, you have a business idea coming into your head, even whether it's family, whether it's friends, you discuss it with 5 people, they will give you 5 different notions, and suddenly you are sitting with a confused head. Was my idea good enough to start with?
Correct.
And tell me, how do you maintain a work-life balance when you're working from home? Everything is, don't you think lines get blurred? That you're saying in the beginning you were working late nights. So at what point does it start getting streamlined, and at what point that work-life balance is maintained? That, okay, right now this is my working hour, then these are my hours where I'm not working and I'm with the family.
Okay, honestly, I feel there is no work-life balance till now because I love to do work. So even I go for a vacation, I take a piece of paper and write some strategy.
Okay.
So maybe I have to figure out, I'm learning that. But it's way more clear, like in the afternoons, I compulsory spend time with my kids. My kids' school timing finish by 2 o'clock. So then post that I start sitting with her. Or if there is some shooting involved, I start involving her also. Do me a help, do me a favor of this. If that is suitable to her, okay, I cannot involve her in multiple things.
Correct.
Then she starts helping me. And I clearly communicate to kids also. Maybe, say, I'm traveling here, like for 24 hours, I'm not going to be there. So I clearly communicate, like, tomorrow you wake up, I'll be there at home.
Yeah.
I'll take you to school. So kids are okay. Maybe from the year of 2, right, I've been saying her. And my second kid was also 2 years.
Okay.
He's not understanding, but I said clearly to him and came. Kids are okay to understand. And I personally feel, again, same thing. maintaining a proper calendar is way more important. Even in office, you can be lenient, but when you work remotely, my calendar is full of notes. What to do today, what are my time slots. So I see my calendar in the morning, I say to my kid, she won't understand anything, but she will be like 2-3 she has meeting, something like that. She will blabber and she will glow, and I communicate clearly. So
Okay.
clear communication can help us in many ways.
Right. So I think in any case, when kids know a certain, routine or a schedule they know right from their birth, it becomes a part of their lives. It's
Exactly.
nothing out of the ordinary for them.
Yes.
It's actually the grown-ups who have time adjusting with it more, because suddenly, oh, right now she was at home, now she's working, now she's busy. So they have more of a problem coping up.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel any kind of mom guilt? That is another thing which women feel.
No, actually, I don't have, because maybe I'm working from home. Maybe I'll be in the meetings only, and it will go for sometimes 4 to 5 years. My kid will come and knock the door, and I generally pass the meeting. I just clearly go and say, "You cannot do this. Please go away." Sometimes it turns other way around also. I mute and I shout once. See, both happens, but I have never felt guilt because I'm not compromised on family time.
Right.
Because maybe I become a matured entrepreneur. I started way more earlier, but in the initial stage, maybe if I had a kid, maybe I would have struggled. But I feel that guilt we should throw away.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I think as a working mother, especially a working mother who's working from home, you are setting a great example for your kids, because this is what kids today need. They need to see women working. They need to see women working as much as their fathers,
Yes.
Mothers are also working, fathers are also working. In the long run, this is what is going to actually create gender equality in their minds, which is going to be so deeply ingrained because that's what they've grown up seeing. Right? So talking about gender equality, do you ever feel as a woman that there is this gender bias still existing in your work structure?
Maybe not in my work stuff, but there is a gender issues that is happening in India.
Tell me about it.
No,
What do you
no
feel?
doubt in that. First of all, I don't believe in equality. Okay, I honestly feel like, see, we both are women. Why should you and me be equal?
Correct.
Why should I compare with you? You are entirely different, I am entirely different.
Yeah.
Same applies to men and women. So I have never believed in equality, but there are some roles and responsibilities. See, obviously, very basic thing. You will be traveling for a week by leaving your kids. Your husband will also do this, but you will definitely miss your kids a lot more than your husband. There is a biological connection. So even today morning, I just said my husband, you should not even scold the kids by any chance, but I'll keep on scold every day. That's different. So there is some connection. There is a difference between both men and women. And in my family, maybe they have grown like that and they have never seen any equality. My husband cooks in the evening, and I have stopped cooking for past 3 years. I'm not cooking at all, but that's okay. But when it comes to the reality, there's a huge difference. So even as a woman entrepreneur, when you step in, they try to question you in way more different ways. You can clearly understand.
You think you face that? You feel that?
No, very rarely. They won't generally do this, but I have heard this from my colleagues, other colleagues. They're asking me this, that. Mostly, I am a person, I don't generally speak that much.
Right.
Once I become close, I speak. Else, I'm little introvert. So they don't try to come and speak me, but all my friend circle or other business women entrepreneur have definitely mentioned this. My chat box is like this. My inbox is like this. And for me, my inbox itself is handled by my team.
Okay.
So I don't even know what's happening. I'll be like, if you're facing anything, just solve it all by yourself. But in reality, there are a lot of problems that is going between men and women. We should definitely agree it. India is a very big country. There are multiple things followed in multiple regions. Still, the issues is going on.
So there is this other woman entrepreneur that I was speaking to, and I was asking her the same question: that have you ever felt, in the real corporate world, have you felt that somebody's not treating you, giving you the same respect as they should just because you're a woman? And she said, yeah, when I was looking for investment for my business, I was actually asked by the investor, who's going to take care of the kids if you're going to run this?
Okay.
And this is when she was sitting with her husband. So this question was not posed to the husband, but her, that, oh, you're looking for investment, who's going to take care of the kids? So yeah, there are certain rules which the society...
Maybe before marriage, I tried to take a loan. So at that time, see, my brother also was trying a loan. His norms is very simple. He can just sign it. For me to take a loan, my father has to sign because I'm not married. If I'm married, no, my husband has to sign.
Oh, really?
And if I have to keep the property of my mother had a property, I thought I'll keep that. They said, no, if your mother want to keep the property, your mother, brother, father, entire family should sign. And by any chance you got married, your mother-in-law, father-in-law also should sign. saying that this property ently belonged to them and we won't come and fight for it.
Oh, really?
So that was because I got my first loan at 21 or 22.
Ah.
So they said like you have to bring the father. I said why father? Because I'm doing the business. He said no, that is the rules in India. So I was very shocked. Like the same my brother was doing, only his sign is enough. We don't even know that he got a loan or not.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of things that is going on. That is true.
My God, this information is going to take a while to sink in. I wasn't aware of that. So, as a woman entrepreneur today, you are running a company, you're running multiple companies, and you must be having a lot of men who are working in your team as well. Have you ever faced that as a woman, somebody is a little reluctant of taking orders from you?
No,
Do you think that happens today?
no. I give order. Dot. I'm very clear about that. This is my see. There are two things. I give authority to my team. They love it. Okay. When their authority fails, I give order. I say dot. When I say dot, my team will understand. They need to follow. No second thought, no comma, no continuation, semicolon. That's it.
Wow.
So you have to be strong in that, right?
So just give all the women who are watching this a little tip on how they can, because I know a lot of women who struggle with authority, and authority is a great authoritative word. So please give us some tips on how this can be handled by women.
First thing is like first I give authority to all the team persons. Okay, when I hire a people, I believe them. I don't have a doubt in them. I give them the entire authority. My bank details, everything is with them only. And I clearly define this is your scope of work. This is the standard operating protocol, SOP, that you have to follow. I'm very clear on all those things. Then I will not question till they have a problem. But when they face a problem, then I step in, right? So they will become silent. So they have to obviously abide my rules. So that's where I feel. And see, I feel I may say that women entrepreneurship, men entrepreneurship is different in terms of family. But when it comes to business, it's business.
Right.
Let's be a different role in that. And clear communication there too.
Right.
So,
But
data.
how important do you think is it for a woman to actually know the job really well before she feels that I'm in that place where I can command, or demand from my team to deliver?
Yeah. Initially, I was also thinking that I should know all the departments in depth. So nowadays, like I have a guilt like, hey, maybe I don't know that. But I'll put a question. I'm not sure on this, but this is the output that you're getting. This output is wrong. That means that your process is wrong. Explain me the process. I openly convey that I'm not aware of this.
Okay.
When I started my business, I initially thought each and every department I should know. Even the smallest of the smallest task. Now I'm completely away from it. Like sometimes I feel bored. Like what can I do next? I'm sitting very idle because I have a board in my room. Okay. If you repeat a task second time, you're making a sin.
Oh.
So which means like I should delegate. So if you're doing that, keep on, second time in this year, then why are you not delegating it? So I have delegated all my process. So
give me an example of a task being done second time.
Example, I used to validate GSTs. Okay, GST we used to give to the auditor. I thought GST is my department, my business. My team will entail do, and I was auditing it. Then I thought, why should I do the audit? Let me make someone else to audit. So there was one person to execute, one person to audit it.
Okay.
And even payroll, initially I was doing it.
Okay.
Thinking, okay, payroll is equivalent to money. It is that control. Now, everything you have a leave, there is a protocol, you do this. There will be a team who's approving it. Just inform me. Keep me everything in CC. I'm there to check out all your emails.
Yeah.
But don't come and ask me all the permissions. But if there is a problem, then I step in. So majority of the works I have delegated. So sometimes I sit and think, am I actually doing a business? What next to do? What can we do? Sometimes I feel that boredom.
Okay.
But that boredom helps me to think strategically also.
Right. Also to learn more skills and,
correct.
upskill yourself.
Yes.
And
So that boredom, I think, okay, now we have a lot of time. What else can we do? Maybe let's check out this AA tool or what else. I start, making it.
And what do you have to say to women who struggle with the fear of failure? That, okay, I'm going to go against my family and I really believe in this thing, but what if I fail? Then everyone's going to laugh at me. What do you have to say to women like that?
Let's fail. I love failure. The first time I failed was during my marriage. Like I have to shut down my e-commerce business in Chennai and come back. I was worried what to do. But that failure made me to create my agency. Where now, because of agency only, we are serving all these celebrity brands. Globally, we are reaching out. If that failure did not happen, I would have been just with single business.
Yeah.
Again, the COVID came. All my business got down. That was the time I was like, my kid also came. Like, I have to do something different. No, what to do in this COVID time, how to make money. Always I used to think that. Then I started my coaching business, and currently I've trained over 60,000 plus people. So
Wow.
if that failure did not happen, if that hard time did not happen, I wouldn't have even started. I would be always happy. So now also I feel like something should come in a negative. It should drop down. So you fight back,
Right.
and then you can run all the business.
Wow, that's so nice to look at something which is actually considered so negative in such a positive way. You know, something good can come off failure as well.
Yes.
Tell me, how important is it to build a community around your business? Like, you want to do something as a solo entrepreneur, but how important is it to build a community?
It's very important. Community networking is way more important. So when I started, I don't know anything about e-commerce, how to take a product photo shoot or whom should we approach. But right now, if someone is going to come and ask me anything about e-commerce, I will give them knowledge, and I have a good set of community. I'll be like, you need photo shoot? These are the numbers in this location. You can contact them. And whatever they need, I have a good set of community people. I can post, I can get the numbers, I can share it. So that has grown in the past 10 plus years. So without community, you can't do anything. And one more thing, consider that I want to do anything new. I can go and ask the community, hey, there are 3 options I'm planning to do. What do you think will be the best? And they select and they give me the answer. So even the survey, anything can be done inside a community.
Okay.
So it's very, very important for a business.
And how can one build a community?
Okay, so what I did was like, initially I started small Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, all these,
Okay.
We started like a community building. And now we created our own courses, and people who are joining that, we created a small interfacer community where they can, chat inside the app, or they can come back to us. And also, for example, recently we did an event where we hosted 700 plus people. And all the people from our community, we started giving them awards also.
Okay.
So there people came and they were interacting. Around 200 plus people are from our community.
Wow.
Hey, come on, you how much are you making in Amazon? How much am I making? They started interacting, and they felt like it was very energizing. So maybe offline events also plays a role. I do yearly once offline events. I try to bring all my community people there and other people also. So when they do that networking, they feel just wow.
And tell me, my last question is that you're doing so much. You are, a stay-at-home individual. You're working from home also, running multiple businesses. How do you avoid the burnout? How do you make sure that you're not fatigued and your mind is not overstressed? How do you do that?
Actually, stress happens, but I try the best to come out of it. Just only one thing. So whenever we have a problem, whenever we go and say our husband no, they will ask questions logically. I'll end up like, no, I'm not expecting any logical answer. just say it will go away, but they won't.
Right.
So I got that actually once. Like whenever this will happen with majority of the family.
Yeah.
Whenever they go to the husband, what we expect is simple. Hey, it will be okay, TK, or something like that. But they will start questioning data.
Yeah.
My husband will question, okay, what issue is causing you this blah blah. He will ask. I'll be like, that will double my angriness. So that I copied once and I took in a paper. So before I go to him or before I went out, first let's figure out why am I angry. I write in a piece of paper. Then when I write itself, I'll know the answer.
Oh, okay.
There will be only 4 matter. Then I'll be like, fine, let's have a coffee. Everything will be okay. I have a copy. Then I will write all the 3 answers for it. 4 problems are actually bothering me.
Yeah.
Or why am I spending a lot of time here in which job? Tracking of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And why I'm angry or why I'm like stressed out. Once I write, I'll write 3 solutions.
Wow.
And I feel this and all can be solved, right? This is too much. Come on, you should not be stressed out. Just let's go and enjoy. So I leave all the thing, go and enjoy, come back, see the paper. It will be very light. I also do one more practice of recording the voice. I've been doing it for years.
Okay.
So I record like today, this is my, my mood. Why am I stressed out? Next month when I hear this audio, what should I do?
Wow.
So I give a roadmap there.
Wow.
So by end of recording 5 minutes or 10 minutes itself, I would have got the solution. And when I try to hear the next time after a month or so, I feel like, yeah, I executed this. So when you try to speak to yourself in terms of voice, we had a film called Kamal Haasan, one film will be there where he'll be detective, and he will keep on record things and hear it in his gym to figure out the detective, figure out the thief. So from there I learned it like, let's do this voice, and whenever I hear it, keep on hear the problem. Because if I ask someone, they will give me some solution.
Yeah,
I'll give
exactly. Which is probably not the best for you.
Yeah. So I myself figure out the solution and I solve it. So that is one of the best way that I do.
That is actually very, very amazing of you to say that too, actually, because you're right. You go to the husband, he will process the situation or the problem in his own head and give some solutions, which we are not looking for.
Yeah.
What we want is, it's okay, baby, it'll work out. It'll be
Exactly.
fine. But thank you so much, Nivetha. And I want to just congratulate you on all the great things that you've achieved. And all the best in your future as well on the journey that you're on. I hope that a lot of women from will take away a lot from this conversation, and all the women out there who are trying to start something on their own and just failing to take that first step, जिन्हें समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि शुरुआत कहाँ से की जाए. I hope this conversation was very meaningful for all of you. कुछ आपके अगर सवाल हैं, any questions if you have, you can please put them down in the comment section. And hope you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe. You're watching Candid Confessions with Chavi, and this is both of us signing out. Love and peace from us to you.